In today's What Sold video, we're going to be talking about sales from July 28th through August 2nd. And what I found is that even though we were still in the summer months, because I'm still a little bit behind on these videos, I am definitely moving into selling way more fall items than summer items. So let's get into it. Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park. I'm a part-time reseller and my full-time job is teaching high school choir. And to be honest with you, right now, my high school teaching gig is giving me lots of stress. One, it's kind of making me sick. I don't know, there's something about the building. It's very old and there's either too much air in some rooms, which messes up my asthma, or there's no AC like in my office and it gets really stuffy and that messes up my asthma. Thankfully, they put in an AC unit for me because I was telling them that my office was making me sick. But also, I just did a cappella auditions for my a cappella group and so many kids tried out, and basically me filming right now is me procrastinating making the list of who's in a cappella because I hate making kids feel sad. Like I hate telling kids they didn't make it, and that's an email that I have to send later today, and I literally have children like emailing, texting, being like, when's the list coming out? And I'm like, leave me alone. I have till 11:59. So we're going to get through this and then I'm going to force myself to sit down and look at this list of names of just amazing children and figure out which children I am going to make super sad. So that's what I do in my full-time gig. But right now I am going to tell you about the things that sold for me this particular week. And this was basically like the tail end of my vacation in Seattle to visit my parents and then me like actually being back and making an effort with my reselling business. The first day of sales that we'll talk about is Monday, July 28th. And I sold an interesting sale. So it was a new with tags Patagonia Cinchilla Fitzroy Patchwork Night Plum Snap Tee Pullover in a women's extra small. I have talked before in previous What Sold videos, like recent videos, that Patagonia, especially these kind of fleeces, they're definitely not like the most exciting pickup anymore just because I think, this particular type of fleece has had its time. I still wear mine, but like it's not the type of thing that everyone's super excited about anymore. So I got this not too long ago. I got it sometime last year at a local store that sold kind of these like athletic brands or outdoor brands like Patagonia. They'd have like half days and they had all these different brands like North Face and they would sell them heavily discounted. That store has actually since closed and so I can no longer source there. But when they were open, I went to their half off sale and I got this for $40, which was amazing. Actually, I think it was more than a half off sale. It was like a crazy sort of, I don't even remember. It was a crazy type of sale, but I had $40 into this. So this was an interesting sale and I'm not allowed to share who purchased it from me because it's for an upcoming event. But basically something's going to happen and this is going to be one of the things in the thing that happens. And so the people who bought it from me paid $120 for it. They paid my full asking price, which was so nice of them. And my net profit ended up being $56. So that was a very welcome sale, especially given the fact that, like I said, I had not been making a lot of sales due to being on vacation. And it was basically like I turned off vacation mode on Poshmark, still didn't make sales for a couple days. And then finally this one came through and that felt really good. And then also on the 28th, which was a Monday, on Whatnot, I sold from my Whatnot marketplace this Kenneth Cole Reaction blue plaid button-up long sleeve shirt in a women's size small. This took me 4 years to sell. Like it's something that a friend of mine gave me when she moved to a different state, kind of like during that COVID era. And she didn't want to take all of her reselling inventory with her, so she gave it all to me. And this was one of those items, and I just went ahead and listed it. I'm saying I had $1.50 into it. It sold for $5 on Whatnot. That's how low I had it because I had had it for so long and just wanted it gone. And so my net profit was $2.49. The crazy thing is that item got delivered, but then it got sent back to me. And I think it's because whoever purchased the item didn't put the correct address in Whatnot. So when I shipped it out, it couldn't get delivered to the person, and so I have it back in my possession. As far as I know, like I still have my payout from it, so I don't know like what happened there. I'm waiting to see if the person reaches out or whatever, but it was kind of an interesting situation. So I guess I could list that again, but like what would be the point? Why would I want to hold on to it for another 4 years? I don't know. So the next thing to sell on the 28th was actually another Whatnot sale, which is crazy to have 2 Whatnot marketplace sales in the same day. And it was this William Rast, which if I'm not mistaken was Justin Timberlake's clothing line. I don't even know if he still does it. And it was ribbed. It had a cutout on it and it was high-low. It was a V-neck shirt. This I have had for so long, like pre-COVID, so very long. And I'm pretty sure I paid money for it. Although right here it says I don't have any money into it because I mistakenly thought that I got it in like a reseller box, like a 5-pound box from a reseller liquidation or something on Poshmark. But I don't think that's where it's from. I think I went to a thrift store, saw this and was like, yes, let me give you money, thrift store, so that I can try to sell it myself. And the result was I sold it for $5. I'm saying I had no money into it, but that's a lie. My numbers will be a little bit wrong. And I'm saying that my net profit on that then was $3.98. That's a lie because I did actually have some money into it. Maybe I lost a little money on that. Maybe I made a couple pennies. I don't know, but it was a horrible sale. I don't know that I've ever picked up William Rast since then. It is just not a brand that I get excited about, mainly due to this pickup right here. Let me know if you have a different experience with the brand William Rast, but I hate it with all of my heart. And then moving on to the 29th of July, which was a Tuesday on Poshmark, I had a much better sale. And it was this Eileen Fisher green organic cotton log and look dress with pockets, and it was in a women's plus size 2X. This I did get from the estate sale that I went to at the beginning of May that I've talked so much about. And I got it on the first day of the estate sale, at which time all clothing was $5, unless it was on a special rack and marked up like crazy. But this was just in the closet, so it was $5. It sold for $60, and it took a little over 2 months to sell, and I made a net profit of $43. So that was really exciting. It wasn't even new with tags or anything, but it still sold for good money. Also on the 29th on Poshmark, I sold this new with tags Gudrun Shedden opal green lyocell jersey turtleneck in a women's plus size 2XL. That one I got at the same estate sale that I just talked about, but I got this like a couple days later during the half off sale. And so at the half off sale, all the clothing that had been marked at $5 was now $2.50. So I only had $2.50 into that. It sold for $42. That was an offer that I sent out to likers using Posher VA, and my net profit was $31.10. And that sold in less than 2 months, which is awesome. Like, I just love it when things are flipping quickly. And I feel like this green is very fall. This is exactly the type of thing you would wear in the autumn months. And then also on the 29th, this was very shocking to me, but I had a Facebook Marketplace sale, and this buyer had actually reached out to me the week before and was like, would you take 15 for this item? And I was like, sure. And she's like, okay, well, I get paid next week, so I'll get it then. And I have heard that same statement so many times from prospective buyers for it to result in a sale maybe like 1% of the time. Like when people are like, oh, I'll come back and get this. They never come back and get it. But this person actually did. And the item was this pair of new with tags Canyon River Blues dark wash jean shorts in a men's size 42. Those I got from a reseller buyout. I think it was it pre-COVID? I think it was during COVID. And I had $2 into it. So my net profit was $4.91. Why? Because I also stupidly, I think, had free shipping on that. So I made very little money. And then on the 30th of July, which was a Wednesday, I had 0 sales. But on Thursday, which was the 31st, I had a good number of sales. The first one was a 4-piece bundle, I believe. And it was over on Poshmark. So the bundle, and you know what? I don't know if this sold to a viewer or not. I don't think that this person was a viewer, but just in case they were, let me look this up really quick. Hold up. Okay, in case this was a viewer, this went out to, oh, this was a viewer. Okay, so this went out to Rachel. She's so sweet. She actually wrote a comment after she got everything. She said, I've been watching your YouTube videos consistently for years. I love everything in my bundle. Beautiful items, fast shipping, packaged perfectly. I look forward to purchasing from you again. Rachel, thank you so much. That's so sweet. Like sometimes people will tell me as they purchase that they're a viewer, or sometimes they'll let me know after with their love note. And sometimes people don't let me know at all, but that was really sweet of her. So she got 4 items. Let me go back to my spreadsheet here. The first one was this Free People So Divine long sleeve romper in a size small. You guys, I got that in June of 2021. So it took me a little over 4 years to sell. And I think it's because I got this at a time when, I mean, Free People is just one of those brands that like, there was a time when it was super popular and then it kind of has dipped. It kind of does one of these. And at this point, I think because it's a brand that's been around for a while, most resellers know you just have to be really careful about which items you pick out because some of them are way older. They're not really trendy anymore. Just because it says Free People, that's just not reason enough to pick up the brand. And I think when I got this, it was when I was still really, really excited about Free People and I probably had a price so high. Over the years, I've dropped the price steadily and steadily, but I did finally just sell it to Rachel for $17.13. I'm giving you the prices of what she paid with the bundle discount. I had $8.20 into that from the pop-up consignment sale, so my net profit was $5.51. That's like an extra large fries plus tax, you know what I mean? So that's good French fry money, but it took me 4 years to make that money, and that's a really long time. The next thing that she got was this Chico's tiger print maxi slit lace-up chest, like the lace-up was right here, dress in a women's size 4 petite. I put like resort wear in the listing title because I feel like this is the kind of thing you would wear at a resort. And she purchased that from me for $19.35. I had $3 into it. I got it at a $3 tag sale last December, like way at the end of the year. But I didn't get around to listing it till like earlier this year. So it really only was listed for 2 months and it sold. And so my net profit on that was $12.48. She also got this new with tags Lulu's Alluring Dream Burgundy Floral Mesh Lace Trumpet Midi Dress in a women's size medium. Lulu's is another brand that I used to pick up all the time. Now I barely pick it up, but I do pick up a lot of their like more maxi dresses, or you can tell it's like a bridesmaid type dress, especially if it's new with tags. So this checked all the boxes, and I had this price pretty high, like maybe at like $50 or $60, but Rachel got it for $35.93. I only had $3.13 into it from a local consignment's birthday sale, and so my net profit was $25.61. And last but not least, she got this Alice and Olivia blue jersey knit belted jumpsuit in a women's size small. It had like an open back on it. This is another one that I had for so long. I got this one at a local consignment store in 2022, August of 2022. I had $16.50 into it. It was probably like a 60 or 70% off sale. It took me literally almost 3 years to sell, but it did sell finally to Rachel, who's got great taste, for $37.59, and my net profit was $13.57. And to be honest with you, that was probably another case of me just listing something too high because I was blinded by the brand, because 3 years ago, I'd be really excited about finding Alice and Olivia. And it still can be exciting, but Alice and Olivia sits for so long for me. And again, it's a brand that's been around for a while. And if you're just picking it up because it says Alice and Olivia, chances are you're picking up some older styles that nobody really cares about anymore. So it's really important when you're sourcing to pay attention not just to the brand, but also if it fits with what people are wearing today. So that was everything that Rachel purchased from me in a 4-piece bundle. Rachel, again, thank you. And I'm so glad that everything fits and that you like everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also on the 31st on Poshmark, I sold this pair of Adriano Goldschmied Tellus Modern Slim Jeans in a men's size 40 by 34. It did have some like whiskering, you know, at the top of the jeans. Those sold on Poshmark for my full asking price of $35. And I had $3.79 into them from a local consignment's birthday sale that I went to this May, like later in May. They sold in a little under a month and my net profit was $24.21. So that was really exciting. And then I had my first eBay sale since coming back from my trip, and it was also on the 31st. It was this new with tags Denim and Supply Ralph Lauren slim dark wash jeans in a men's size 33 by 32. These I got at the estate sale the first day. So I had $5 into them and they sold for $35. They were promoted at 3% as well. And these actually sold once already on eBay and were returned to me due to fit. The person was like, they just don't fit me well. So I got them back. I relisted them and they resold for me within like 2 weeks. I think they sold for a little bit less, but I'm okay with that, especially because it seems like this sale has stuck. And so my net profit on those was $22.50. And then we are finally talking about the month of August, which still puts me, I know, like a month behind. But on August 1st, which was a Friday, on eBay, I sold this Bryn Walker, a Villa print maxi dress. The color, I think, was called Galassia Wine. I don't know what Galassia is. And it was in a women's size small. I did put the word log and look in the title. That sold on eBay for $40. And it was something that I got like in January of 2025 at a Goodwill in a town about an hour and a half away. I took my students there for an all-state music festival that they had auditioned and qualified for. And so while they were in rehearsal, I went out and thrifted to my heart's content. I picked this up for $7.89 and my net profit on that was $26.93. Bryn Walker is another brand that I have been finding sits longer than it used to. I can still get decent money for it, but it sits. So not the best if you're trying to flip it quickly, or if you want to flip it quickly, like you probably just have to undercut everyone else and price a little bit lower, which is annoying, but I was happy that that sold. And then when you talk about like fall items, you know, we've had a lot of jeans that I talked about and like long sleeve dresses and things like that. But this is a very fall-ish piece. This sold on Saturday, which was August 2nd, and it was on eBay. It was this J. Crew Factory schoolboy sweater blazer in the color Heather Acorn. This one was in a women's size medium and it had pockets. This one I actually didn't have any money into because I got it from Reseller Supply Co., which is a really cool wholesale company for resellers. They buy out all these like liquidation pallets and stuff, and they have just so much inventory. And so they started kind of a side business to their reselling business, selling some of those items to resellers. And if you want to check them out, I do have links for them down in the description below. But I got this in a free box from them when I did an unboxing for you guys. And so I've had it listed probably since like November of last year, so it's kind of been a while, but it did finally sell for $35.99 due to a 20% off sale that I was running on eBay. That was my full asking price with the 20% off, and because I didn't have any money into it, my net profit on that was $31.10. Also on the 2nd of August on eBay, I sold this Matilda Jane orange plaid button-up shirt. It had like lace panels on it, and it was in a women's size medium. This is another item that I had for so long, and I kind of hate the sale. You'll see why. So I picked it up in April of 2022 at a pop-up consignment sale. I had $11.18 into this, which is about $10 more than I should have had into it. It did sell for $13.90. That was an offer that I sent out to watchers because I was so desperate to get rid of this. It's not a profit. I lost $1.37 on that. I can't really remember the last time I picked up Matilda Jane. Like, it used to do okay, but now it doesn't even do okay. Like, it just sells for pennies now, I feel like. And on top of that, it sits forever. So it's a brand that I do not really pick up, even the kids stuff. And I think the kids stuff is more popular than the women's stuff. But I don't know about you. I don't see any children in real life who wear the kind of stuff that Matilda Jane puts out into the world. Like, yeah, I just don't see kids walking around on that stuff. So for me, Matilda Jane, it's a no-lo. I just don't really do it anymore. But also on the 2nd on Poshmark, I sold this Team Apparel Miami Dolphins orange short sleeve t-shirt in a women's size small. That is another doozy. Like, I've had this for so long, probably like since the beginning of COVID. This I got in a reseller buyout, my very first reseller buyout. Actually, that might have been pre-COVID. So I had $1.02 into it. It sold for $8 and I made a net profit of $4.03. Why did I even list that? I really don't know. But also on Poshmark on the 2nd, I sold this pair of New Balance 440 high brown and cream high top skate shoes in a men's size 8.5. Those I got at the same Goodwill about an hour and a half away while my students were in rehearsal. They took about 3 months to sell. They sold for $30. I picked them up for $8.99, and so my net profit was $15.01, which isn't bad, but this is why I don't pick up a lot of sneakers. I just don't know what I'm looking for. I'm just so not a sneakerhead. It's one of those categories where they all look the same to me. Like, I feel the same way about like glassware and like dishes and kitchen stuff. Like when I look at that section of the thrift store, some people, they will post on Instagram or on Facebook, like they'll take a picture of a shelf at Goodwill of just tchotchkes of like little vases and dishes and whatever. And they'll be like,
the real reseller can see the treasure on this shelf.
I'm like, what is it? Is it the clown? Is it the bowl? Like, I have no idea. It all looks the same to me. And that's how I feel about sneakers too. So I'm trying, but yeah. Also on the second on Poshmark, I sold this new with tags, New York & Co. Luxie USA white cowl neck ribbed long sleeve bodysuit in a women's size medium. This I got as part of a reseller buyout in June of 2023. I had $3.85 into it. And I remember I put this in like 2 or 3 Whatnot shows and nobody was biting. Nobody wanted this item. So I just went ahead and listed it. It sold for $21 on Poshmark and left me with a profit of $12.95, which is way more than I would have gotten for it had it sold on Whatnot. And that's just what I do. Like if I have something in a Whatnot show, it's something that I would list myself anyway too. So if it doesn't sell, after like 2 or 3 shows, I'll just list it myself. And this one turned out great. So that worked out. Also on the second on eBay, I sold this new with tags, J. Jill Wherever Collection, Easy Care, Blue Moonlit Sky, tunic top in a women's extra large. I got that in October of last year during a 75% off tag sale. It was part of my 20% off sale that I had running on eBay. So that sold for $35.99. I had $8.25 into it. So I was kind of like worried. I was like, is this going to actually make me decent money? And a lot of people are like,
ew, I don't pick up J. Jill. Like, why do you sell J. Jill?
But I made a net profit of $22.67. And that's just a tunic top. It's not a jacket. It's not a sweater. Like a lot of people would look at that maybe and be like, I don't know. I don't think it's really worth that much. Yes, it was new with tags, but it was also a bigger size. And there were enough great things about it that I was like, I think I can spend $8.25 on this J. Jill piece and still make decent money. Also on the second on Poshmark, I sold this pair of Good American, Good Legs, straight leg jeans in the Indigo 397 wash. They were in a women's plus size 32. And that's probably the only reason, them being more of a plus size, that they sold for $42. I have a really hard time moving straight leg jeans, but was very excited that that happened. I got those at a Plato's Closet 70% off sale in September of 2024. I had $10.50 into them and my net profit was $23.10. Finally, also on the second, I had another Whatnot sale from my Whatnot Marketplace. 3 Whatnot Marketplace sales. It's kind of crazy. And I want to try, like List Perfectly reached out and told me about a way that I could easily take information from List Perfectly. Like I could download a spreadsheet from List Perfectly and I could edit that spreadsheet a little bit so that it would fit the spreadsheet that Whatnot wants you to use if you want to upload items into your Whatnot Marketplace in bulk. It used to be so easy when they allowed you to just take your whole Poshmark closet and just put it into Whatnot. They don't let you do that anymore because Poshmark was like,
what? Like, you guys are doing what now with your listings from Poshmark?
They were not happy about that. So they got rid of that feature. And since then, I haven't put any new items in my Whatnot Marketplace. So I'm going to try that out. And if I figure it out, I will definitely upload some sort of short or something. Or if you follow me on Facebook, I have a Facebook page, BECKYPARK, and I'll for sure tell you about it there. But this is still one of the remnants of like when I did upload stuff from my Poshmark closet way back when. It was this Reebok red full zip track jacket in a men's size small. It had a zippered exterior pocket and I put the word basic in the listing title. Someone gave this to us, I think, like for us to, I don't know. It was like a hand-me-down. It sold for $5. I'm saying I had no money into it. I don't really super remember where it comes from, but I'm fairly certain someone gave it to us. My net profit was $3.89. Whatnot is where I price things just super low, and it's stuff that has been in my possession for a really long time and I just want it gone. So even if things sell for $5, I don't care because I just need it out of my house. And even if I can make French fry money on it, I'm like, Okay, that's fine. Whatnot is what feeds my son French fries, is what it is. But if you've been enjoying this What Sold video, if you've learned about any brands, or just, like hanging out with me, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you're brand new to my channel. But let's talk about my numbers. On eBay, I sold 5 items, and that was for a gross sales amount of $199.37. I had $32.32 into those items, and so my net profit from eBay was $101.83. I had one very random Facebook Marketplace sale for a gross sales amount of $15. I had $2 into that item, and my net profit was $4.91. I sold 12 items on Poshmark for a gross sales amount of $468. I had $106.48 into those items, and so my net profit from Poshmark was $266.57. On Whatnot, I sold 3 items for a gross sales amount of $15, and I had $1.50 into those items, so my net profit was $10.36. And in total, that means I had a gross sales amount of $697.37 with a cost of goods of $142.30. And my net profit for the week was a pretty modest $383.67, which I was happy with, given that, again, I had maybe either just come back from vacation or was coming back at that time. And while I was on vacation, I wasn't listing any new items. There was so little activity on my reselling platforms. Even being able to sell anything in the days after my trip, I was pretty thankful for that, because sometimes it takes way longer to kind of wake up your store. And that's why, if you notice, towards the end of the week, when I did start making eBay sales, I think it's because of the fact that I had a 20% off sale running. And again, that was just to kind of put some energy back into my store and just kick it in the butt a little bit. But let's talk about my numbers from the estate sale, because you guys know I like to share with you information about how I'm doing with that initial, what was it? It was like a $600 something investment into that estate sale. So this particular week of sales, I only sold 3 items from the estate sale, but that was for a net profit of $96.60. And that means from that estate sale thus far, I have sold 133 items for a net profit of $2,655.81. And for the year, I am sitting at a net profit of $11,374.80. So that is everything that sold for me this particular week. I'm super excited to hear from you. Are you moving a lot of fall stuff now? And if so, what kind of stuff is moving well for you? For me, I think jeans really was the biggest seller of the week, and that continues to be true. And I definitely have stocked my Poshmark closet and eBay store with a ton of jeans in anticipation of that. So for me, I guess I would say to you, if you haven't yet, list your jeans. But that's everything that sold for me. Thank you so much for watching and spending time with me today. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.